Hey, thanks for coming. Ain't technology wonderful? Let me address technology from a spiritual standpoint. We are in the midst of a technological revolution. And from a spiritual standpoint, this change has been predicted over 100 years ago by a guy named Sri Yakaswar, the guru of Swami Yogananda. The book is actually on the web. It's out of copyright, so you can even download it for free. There's two main thrusts to the book. One is he talks about being a vegetarian, why that's important. And that's true. I'm a vegetarian. But if you look in the stories in the Vedas about the time of Rama and Krishna, they both ate meat. As a matter of fact, they both hunted and ate the meat that they killed. So there's always some issue around the food you eat. But one of the things that you should know is that when the Pandavas, who also hunted and ate meat, were friends of Krishna, died, they had to go to hell to pay off the karma for killing animals. And why is that part of the holy science? Well, because the holy science is concerned with the next main topic, and the vegetarianism feeds into that, is that we're going into a scientific age, and it's called the Satya Yuga. Why is that important to you? Well, there's a saying in the stock market, the trend is your friend. If you know what's coming, you can position yourself to this flood of technology is either going to drown you or raise your boat. So one of the things that I wanted to do today in this video is to make you happier by knowing how to position yourself. To understand how completely this is going to transform your life, I'm going to tell you a short story about Marconi, who was supposed to be the inventor of radio transmission. There was actually Tesla, but beyond that, he was the person that was associated with the radio. And he became a rich man because of it. But most people don't know that Marconi had bodyguards 24/7 because people tried to kill him. And people said at the time that the radio waves made them crazy. Well, the proof of it was some of them tried to kill him. Okay, but so anyway, technology has always got unintended consequences. And technology can be applied to spirituality as well. You know, I know how to tell the future, but there are things that even I don't know. Because the process of seeing the future is that there are things you can't see right away. And they may come and present some pretty formidable obstacles to progress. And I'm not the world's best communicator. Okay. If I was, there would be a lot more people listening to what I said. But that's okay. The people that need to hear this will, and the people that don't need to hear this won't. We are coming into a time of a world war. We're seeing all the hallmarks of that, and it's being driven by the destruction of institutions from the last revolution. I'm reading a book, and the reason why I'm mentioning the book is because I knew these things, but this guy presented them in a different way. So this is the book. It's called The Seventh Sense by Joshua Cooper Ramo. And I understood when I saw him on Fareed Zakaria's GPS. That's a CNN show. And the points that Ramo made ties in exactly with Sri Yakastar's thesis. In the Vedas, the truth is compared to an anvil in the blacksmith shop. And in an anvil in a blacksmith shop, if you want to change something, you put it against the anvil and beat the object against the anvil. Why do you do that? Because the anvil doesn't change. In spirituality, that analogy is extended even. So if you want to know whether something's true or not, we all carry the anvil of truth within us. So if you want to know if something out there is true, like the anvil, you take that object, whatever it is, and you beat it against the anvil. If something is true, okay, it doesn't change even when you beat on it. That's the nature of truth. So if you have a truth within yourself, and we all do, then beating on this thing will tell you whether it's really part of the anvil of truth. Because if it is really part of the anvil of truth, that object becomes one with the anvil. What this means is that you're constantly enlarging your anvil of truth. Okay? So you need to accept the things that don't change. Okay, so I haven't finished the book, but I thought it was important enough to make a video about it now. One of the things he talks about in the book is about time compression. So my question to you, okay, and I really am interested in your answer. Do you think being able to make things go faster and get what you want faster a desirable object? I asked somebody that this morning, and he said, yes, you always want to go faster. But then I asked him the question, how much are you willing to pay for that? And he says, oh, well, that's different. You're always comparing things from going faster to how much it costs. Well, okay, so I made a study of technology. And one of the things that came out of that was if you study technology, the ability to do something faster or cheaper has a dramatic effect on its implementation in society in general. I don't know how many of you remember the fax machine, but I do. And one of the things that was amazing to me is how fast the introduction of the fax machine into business and how fast it became in everyday use by every corporation in the world within 5 years. And I didn't really understand it until I came across the reason. As you know, every business depends on income. And many businesses, almost all of them, do some sort of billing. And one of the things that became apparent was you don't pay a bill after the first of the month if you receive it after the first of the month. You put it into a pile and you wait to pay it 30 days if you're lucky. That's the general rule. So, and back in those days, to mail a letter in the United States took 3 days. So if you were at the 30th of a month and you mail the letter, it took 3 days to get there. So you wouldn't get paid for another 30 days after it was received. If you had a fax machine on your September the 30th and you faxed the invoice over, that was in the time period. So you would be paid on the 2nd or 3rd of the next month. That's a big difference, isn't it? That's what drove the technology. Okay, how does this apply to spirituality? Time compression has value. The cost for the time value determines on the implementation. Well, let's go back to the fax machine just for a minute. As a corporation, you had a telephone line you were already paying money for. So to fax something only depended on having a fax machine. So you can see how easily the fax took over because even the interest on the fax machine, the cost of the fax machine, would be recovered in less than a couple of months for some corporations. So it was an absolute no-brainer because when you look at some business plans, they say, okay, we're going to recover our money, return on investment, ROI, the acronym, would be less than a year. And in business plans, the rule of thumb is if something's going to be paid back in less than 2 years, You have to do it. So that's what happened. As soon as they saw the reason for doing that, well, how does this apply to spirituality? Okay. I have been reluctant to talk to people how to make their life better immediately until just recently. Why have I been reluctant for that to happen? Because I've told people how to do that and they're being successful. So I had a guy write to me the other day, Robert, and saying, I want to know how to make myself successful instantly, how to get what I want instantly. Okay, well, there's certain rules to that. And one of the things that I did for him is that I told him how to do that before he even asked me. I told him to talk to my friend Emanuele, who is being successful right now. It's one thing for me to talk about success, getting what you want instantly. It's a much different thing to talk about getting what you want, somebody else doing it, and getting what they want. A huge difference. Because with the second case, Robert could say, oh, somebody else did it. And if I know this guy, he's not really that much smarter than me. I can do the same thing. Okay. Just to tell you, Robert, you haven't followed through. So I made this video partially as a way to get you off the dime. I have a for you people that want to know. I've been telling people they can get what they want by using a mantra called the Kubera Gayatri Mantra. And what I've noticed is only a few people have taken it up. So let me just go through that with everybody. If somebody makes the claim they can get you what you want, you should have one of two responses. Well, first one is it true? Okay. Is that really happening? That's why I'm giving the link to people for the Kubera mantra, and you can see Emanuele's song. You can see Matt's, I haven't put that up yet, but I will, listing as on the Google search is the fourth image that's available. That's success for them. Let me talk to you something else. Okay. So if time compression and cost are directly related to the success in our culture, I bought a video streaming machine, essentially software hardware combination. And one thing that impressed me about it is this machine can go out to the web and grab and video stream programs that are under copyright. And let me tell you why I did that. I believe in copyrights. Okay, and so I watched the movie The Jungle Book for free on this machine, on my big screen TV. And the reason, okay, so I'll tell you my motivation. This is just like Napster. Okay, so, and the reason I'm talking to you about this right now is to prepare you for the upheaval that's going to come from this technology. It's legal right now in the sense that all it does is tell you where the files are that you want to watch the movie. Okay, so it's not bootlegging anything like that. What it is doing, it's telling you where it is. Okay, so you can compare this to, in an extreme case, that a terrorist comes along and says, well, where can I get an assault rifle? Now, he's not telling you what he's going to do with it, but if you knew he was a terrorist, you would not tell him. Okay, well, if you tell him, well, if you go down to Ben's gun shop and they will sell you a gun illegally, have you committed a crime? No, you haven't. At least not yet. So this is going to be much harder to deal with than Napster, which were sued. But it also brings up another issue about time compression and money compression. The cost, okay, so as I was watching the credits of the Jungle Book stream across, there were thousands of people listed there. All of them who made, this is a Walt Disney movie, so Disney certainly paid them very handsomely, I'm sure, for what they were doing. But this machine goes directly to the relieving them of payment for that. So one thing, as I looked at the credits, one thing I became absolutely clear is that there's going to change the law. But how to do it, when to do it, all becomes an issue. So the reason my motivation for getting this is to try and figure out how to get the copyright holders paid. So maybe I'm doing something wrong in doing this, but at least my motivation is the right one. I want the people that made the Jungle Book to get paid. And it was interesting. I went to an investors forum for technology, and the guy that ran the technology remembered Napster, and what he said was very interesting to me. He said that then Napster was about music streaming. Okay, so this is the next generation. Napster actually copied the songs and distributed them. That's why they were run out of business. But one of the things he said that was very cogent, okay, is that the issue was resolved with Napster. Napster was run out of business. It was sued until it went bankrupt or quit. Eventually it was hired, and now it's back on the web again, this time as a pay service. So something like this is going to happen again. And the reason I bought this program, software, hardware combination, which I'll put a link on for you to look at yourself, is so you could understand what's going to happen to you, because this is the front wave of a technology revolution. So one of the things that you can do to succeed in the next little while is to know what's coming and to prepare yourself for that life. For sure shooting, there's going to be winners and going to be losers. And so, Jacqueline, I'm talking to you. Is one of the things you want to do is to make people aware of how to be happier the next instant. And for me, this ability to study this technology makes me happy, because I want to help solve this predicament that's coming. Okay, well, that was the main things that I wanted to get across. The people that can figure this out are the people that are going to be able to figure other things out. And one of the things that the Kubera Mantra, so this really is an advertisement for the Kubera Mantra. It's not so much to tell you, oh, go buy this thing, software, hardware thing. It's to tell you that the Kubera Mantra brought both this book and this hardware software combination to me to understand what's going on. And I'm taking that information and I'm presenting it to you in the hopes that you also will come to understand how you can make your life better, not necessarily through reading the book The Seven Sense or getting this hardware software combination, but to use the Kubera Mantra, which goes beyond and gets your good karma. You all have good karma. So the ability to get the good karma is a great asset. Where a book will fail, where a hardware software combination will fail, the Gayatri Mantra, the Gayatri Kubera Mantra can fill in. So this really is an advertisement for that, and I will put the link for that video so you can see it for yourself. There's nothing like knowing for yourself, getting what you want, and being able to repeat it and get even more. So thank you.